Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For this video I thought I would show you through my first ever bullet journal. I bought a Moleskine dotted journal. It was a lot slimmer when it arrived than I was expecting. It's much slimmer than your Letstrom's and your Scribbles That Matter journal, but it was the first one I purchased. It was the first attempt at starting a bullet journal, so I thought from beginning to end I will show you through my first journal. The Moleskine does not have numbered pages, and when it came to creating an index it was something that went straight over my head and I never really did. It was only once I got numbered pages that I began to really understand the point of an index. But to begin with, my journal was completely filled out with friction pens. I bought a black friction pen and a sort of 4-5 colour set off of Amazon because I was deathly afraid of putting any ink into the journal and making a mistake. So the red that you can see there, the purple and the black, it's all friction pens. It will all rub out if I use the eraser on it. But for me, the beginning of a journal, I was just playing around with as many pages. Oh, there would be my first ever doodle challenge. For me, it was experimenting with weeklies, monthlies. I put lots of, has anyone else done the level 10 life? And started it, never finished it. I think I did this a couple of times to try and get into it. It wasn't my bag. It wasn't something I was down for. So I carried on going. I used to use this journal a lot. Fun fact about Doodle Day Darlings, I used to have another YouTube channel where I vlogged about mum life because at this time my child was 6 months old. That has since stopped and I don't vlog anymore about mum life, but the pages are still there from when I was planning. I still always have a gratitude log. That's something I've done from the beginning and it's stuck with me the whole way through. This journal is littered with cleaning trackers and loads of different pages where I was experimenting with. A lot of the time it was because I'd seen pages that other journalers had done. This was a summer holiday spread. But I found every time I put a page into my journal that somebody else had done, if it wasn't something I needed, then it wasn't a page that I ended up filling in. So they never worked out for me. But if I use my monthlies and use pages for what I wanted, they worked out much better. Oh, I love this challenge. Got to put it out there. Saturday morning cartoons. Oh yes. This is another one of those pages. The rock your handwriting. I penciled all these boxes in beforehand and I didn't finish that. So I would say my biggest tip is if you see somebody else's page and you want to put it in, another level 10 life journal not filled out, only put something in your journal if you really feel like it's something you want, because the risk of putting it in and then it just dying a death and never being filled in is high. From here on out, I really start to hit a groove with picking my favourite films and putting them into my weeklies, creating themes and making it colourful. I'm using my stepson's colouring pens at this point. They are just some cheap generic supermarket pens. I think they were like £3 to buy. I'm not a pen snob. I'm completely happy with whatever pens I've got to hand. For me, it was about creating a colourful journal, not a perfectly artistic colouring journal. Really early on in my journal journey, I found a groove with weeklies. That seemed to be the thing that worked for me. Monthly layouts, weekly layouts, doodle challenges, gratitude logs, all of those things that I still do now are heavily things that I did at the beginning. I've not changed too much at all. I did use my first journal much more for planning. This was my son's first birthday. So I used to use it a lot I had a lot of cleaning trackers and a lot of sort of pages to help me organise or get on top of things, and you know, if I had to have the house clean for a certain event, vlogging. I really should do this page again. I loved it and didn't fill it out, but housework bingo, what more motivation could you possibly need to try and do some housework other than a game of bingo? But I think at this point, looking back, my son was 6 months old. I was knee deep in nappies and looking after him, and these things I really needed in my life at that point to really get me following a proper routine and getting everything done. That was definitely what I felt I was struggling with when he was young. So things have a need. I don't have so many cleaning trackers now. That doesn't mean I'm perfect at cleaning. It just means I don't track it anymore. What I do like about this journal is that there are loads of gaps and spaces. You saw there that my gratitude log ended halfway through November. And you'll find loads of pages that are empty or things that I've started and not finished. And in the beginning I used to get quite upset about that and think, oh, there's a big gap in my journal, because I was searching for this perfect colourful layout. But as I look back, it sort of then reminds me that that's kind of how life goes. Sometimes you're really on it, sometimes you have to pull back. Look at this. This is sacrilege in Doodle Day Darling's life. This is an unfilled in doodle challenge. December, I think, this year was super manically busy, and I was making everybody's Christmas presents as well as dealing with a newborn. It all got on top of me, and journaling, look, it all starts to get a bit messy. So journaling took a backseat as I spent most of Christmas Eve making Christmas presents instead. But these things happen, don't they? 30 days of 30. I came up with 7 ideas. Really, yeah, Christmas and New Year tends to be the time that I tail off of journaling if I'm being creative in other areas, because I don't have enough creativity to go around. Ooh, bonus, another cleaning tracker. But I really did love this journal. Yes, the pages are incredibly thin. Yes, the pages are slightly yellow. But it really was a brilliant journal to start with. I'd buy it again if the pages were thicker and they could hold up. Certainly the Faber Castell pens that I have and have been using would not hold up in this journal. But for a first journal, I absolutely love it, and I look back with fond memories. Everything starts to get a little bit gnarly towards the end. I really hope you have a journal where the last couple of pages seem to lose their theme and lose what they're on about. These start to get really funky, and I have my obligatory pen test page at the back of every journal so that I can test out all the colours and make sure it works. But this was my Moleskine journal. It was my first, and I love it, and for that, it's going to stay with me for years to come. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my Moleskine flip through. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you all really soon.